Divine Love family checking in with y'all. I want to bring something to your attention. So beware and be alert of what's going on with the banks and the banking industry right now. Okay. Bank of America is calling back over 200, they're saying $2 billion in fixed notes. Okay. So let me read what it's saying. Bank of America is calling back fixed floating rate senior notes due July 2026. This is an announcement for redemption. Okay. From Charlotte, North Carolina, July 14th, 2025. Newswire. Bank of America Corporation announced today that it will redeem on July 22nd, 2025, all 2 billion principal amount outstanding of its 4.827% fixed floating rate senior notes due July 2026, CUSIP number 06051GLA5. The notes, hereinafter the notes, at a redemption price equal to 100% of the principal amount of the notes, plus accrued and unpaid interest to but excluding the redemption date of July 22nd, 2025. Interest on the notes will cease to accrue on the redemption date. Payment of the redemption price for the notes will be made through the facilities of the Depository Trust Company, the Bank of New York Mellon Trust Company, National Association is the trustee and paying agent for the notes. Bank of America goes on to say that Bank of America is one of the world's leading financial institutions serving individual customers, small and middle market business, and large corporations with a full range of banking, investing, asset management, and other financial and risk management products and services. The company provides unmatched convenience in the United States, serving approximately 69 million customers and small business clients, with approximately 3,700 retail financial centers, approximately 1,500 ATMs, and award-winning digital banking with approximately 59 million verified digital users. Bank of America is a global leader in wealth management, corporate and investment banking, and trading across a broad range of asset classes, serving corporations, governments, institutions, and individuals around the world. Bank of America offers industry leading support to approximately 4 million small business households through a suite of innovative, easy to use online products and services. The company serves clients through operations across the United States, its territories, and more than 35 countries. Bank of America Corporation stock is listed on the New York Stock Exchange as BAC. So here's my view from a tribal standpoint. First of all, the United States and its corporations have been dissolved and decolonized. There is no more lawful corporations on the land, and Bank of America has recently, in the past 2 months, has been closing all of their stores, all of their retail locations, them and TD Bank, US Bank, many other banks. Okay, as well as Wells Fargo Bank. These are national banks. These are the big boys, and they're closing their doors. Okay, the banks are withholding funds. They have been. It's been reported they have been holding bank accounts and funds and refusing to liquidate the funds upon demand. So, that being said, I recommend that you put your money into gold, something tangible. You need assets that are intrinsic in value. That means that they will always stand the test of time. And I'm going to pull up the next article um, regarding Bank of America closing branches. It was like 500 branches or something like that. Okay, this AI answer is saying Bank of America is closing some of its physical bank branches in 2025 as a part of the larger trend of banks transitioning towards digital banking. This shift driven by a decrease in foot. Pardon me, I'm sitting outside and somebody is walking a dog. Excuse me 1 second. Okay, so several Bank of America branches are scheduled to close in the coming months. Here's the list of some branches that are closing, and here's the dates. June 2025. All of these are in okay. They have several of them in all of the nationwide branches. This one is in North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, 4551 2nd Street, Suite 120, Davis, September 2025. 1206 South Bowen, Arlington, Texas, September 2025. 300 South 4th Street, Las Vegas, Nevada, September 2025. 201 Bastogne Avenue, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, October 2025. 16811 Algonquin Street, Huntington Beach, California, November 2025. 5800 Santa Rosa Road, Camarillo, California, December 2025. 445 Powell Street, San Francisco, California, and the list goes on. Um, okay, here is speaking of some of the banks that have also closed branches, such as J.P. Morgan and Chase, Flagstar, TD Bank, U.S. Bank, and Wells Fargo Bank, the ones that I've already mentioned. So they are closing banks in mass numbers. Okay, here's one. It says Bank of America confirms it will permanently close 19 locations. Let me see. There are these various locations. The full list of branches is gone for good. Okay. I do have a list that I saved that I will bring back on the next one. But there's other locations in California, Florida, Illinois, Kentucky, Massachusetts, Nevada, South Carolina, North Carolina, Texas, Virginia, and Washington. state. Okay. So someone is asking the question, but why the sudden shutdowns? Brick and mortar locations for the top banks in the United States have been consistently trimming their footprint. In 2008, they closed about 1,600 branches. Oh, wait a minute. It says since the year 2018, about 1,646 branches close every year per data from fintech company Self Financial. So they have some data on how many have been closing. Okay, let's see what else. Financial center closings. Okay, this goes back to 2024. This article here talking about the dozens of locations that have closed in America. There's like a whole spreadsheet with the addresses from the year 2022. Bank of America Financial Center closings. Wow. There's pages and pages of them that have closed in Arizona, that have closed in Los Angeles, Arkansas, California, Connecticut, Maryland, Florida. It's 11 pages full. Okay, you have Georgia, Illinois, Maryland, Iowa, Michigan, Missouri, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, New Jersey again, North Carolina, South Carolina, the Carolinas, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. Wow, there's pages and pages. Okay, South Carolina, Tennessee, Maryland, Washington, D.C. area, the Triangle, Washington, Spokane, Washington, Arizona again, California, long list of California branches, long list of Florida, Chicago branches, Boston, Massachusetts branches, Seattle branches for days, 11 pages for, let me see how many are on this list. It's a lot. Let me see how many are on here, if it will tell me. So each page is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. It's about 50 on each page, and this is 11 pages, so it's over 500 branches that have closed as of December 31st, 2023. And that's a major, major blow in society. So they're going under, they're going down, and they have not been telling the public what's going on and why they have not been functioning as normal. They haven't been liquidating deposits. Bank of America, they have even refused withdrawals, refusing to cash checks, refusing to make payments. They have so many limitations right now. Okay, Bank of America refused to. See, can I find the report? Pull that back up. Refusing to withdraw cash. Bank of America customers might encounter a situation where their withdrawal is refused due to several reasons. This is an AI answer. Suspicious activity or holds placed on the account. Yeah, it's been unlawful claims of banks holding funds and making excuses, all types of excuses. Suspicious accounts, holding for whatever reason, making excuses as to why they cannot perform and liquidate the funds to the customer. All right, so um, here's my view from a tribal standpoint and having weighed in on the situation going on with the banks on the land. They have been ordered to decolonize, for one. For two, there are no more corporate entities. Three, they have been ordered to give up the fiduciary duties of holding on to our accounts. And I'm not talking about just the bank accounts. Okay? They've been holding on to our trust accounts, making themselves fiduciary duties, performing fiduciary duties without the express consent, authorization, and authority of the beneficiaries. Many of us are beneficiaries over an estate that we know nothing of, that we have been kept from. So you may not know that you have these funds. You may not know you have a bank account, or you may not know that there's some governmental entity using your information, funneling it through a bank. Okay, so all of this has been going on for many, many years, and now it has come to an end. So they don't have the cash cows that they used to have. They don't have any ways to cipher or sustain themselves. So now they want to go over to digital currency. When, if you can remember, when I had my coin, which I'm bringing my coin back, um, Empress Gold coin, 5, 6 years ago, when we first brought that out, it got sabotaged, by the way, by some governmental actors. But nevertheless, back then, the government didn't want anything to do with it. The banks didn't want anything to do with it. The hedge funds didn't want anything to do with it. The national banks didn't want anything to do with it. Federal Reserve Bank didn't want anything to do with it. Now here we are, 6 years, well, let's say 5 years later. They want everything to do with it. They want all of that smoke. They trying to hang on to dear life because the real sustainable money, the real sustainable wealth has been snatched from them. The rug has been snatched, people. The rug has been snatched from underneath their feet. They have been ordered to stand down and cease and desist from using the beneficiaries' accounts. They cannot trade them anymore. They cannot fund loans from them anymore. They cannot do anything with our accounts. We in America, the American purebloods, were born rich. When you heard Donald Trump recently just come out and say the pure-blooded Americans, he's talking about us. He's talking about the Aborigine inhabitants, Aborigine Moors, Imperial Moors, indigenous inhabitants. Okay? We were born rich. We have been duped and greatly disenfranchised in so many different aspects, politically, economically, and the fiduciary duties that were supposed to be performed, and handing over our estates and our accounts when we turned 18 were not done. So you're looking at fraud at a massive scale and a massive level that has now been stopped because the wealth of the Aborigine of America and worldwide has been falsely used, has been extorted, stolen, and embezzled from us. Okay, some of us been knowing about this, and some don't. Most don't, because when your grandparents and great grandparents and great great grandparents passed on, the duty is left to the duty to carry out their wills in the state is left up to the professionals, the state, the courts, the lawyers, and the judges. Okay, but if these judges took an oath not to give it to us, where does that leave us? High and dry, where everybody profiting off of our inheritance, using our inheritance. These governments have been operating off of our inheritance. With every birth certificate of an Aborigine, pure blooded American, is a trust account. They've been trading the trust accounts, the wealth of the Aborigines of America on the New York Stock Exchange as their wealth funds. They have abused powers, failed to follow statute, failed to follow the will of our ancestors and facilitate the funds that belong to us. Instead, using all of our monies to sustain their governments to work against us. So please know that it is over. And they had to have some partners all along the way in every aspect of government, every aspect of the financial industry to be able to do these things. So these banks can no longer do it. These banks' hands are tied and they can no longer fund their operations or their governments. And they've been decolonized. And the corporations have been dissolved. Okay, first with the Pope, Francis, 2014, I believe it was. And then Trump came behind him in 2017, 2018 when he got in there and dissolved the corporations. And everybody just slept on this. So now that wheel has come to an end, came to a screeching halt. You know, it can only take so much. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. They have been ordered to stop using our inheritance. All of these people for the last since 1950, everybody involved need to go to jail. All the attorneys, all the judges, all of the facilitators of fraud, the clerks of court, probate judges, bankruptcy judges, all of them are committing fraud, primarily against the people of the land. Do y'all understand how huge of a egregious act of misconduct this is? Usury, financial fraud, theft of inheritance. I mean, the list goes on and on of the crimes that have been committed against us. So, a person like me that knows all of these things, that holds all of this knowledge, and challenges the status quo, now you know, now you can see why they don't want this knowledge and this information to get out. They don't want anybody knowing the fraud that has been committed against us. They want to keep using our names and our identities. The entire system is built off of identity theft. A higher up years ago let me know that my name was being used, and he said the whole thing is identity theft. But if you working inside a system like that and you just a small fish, it's not very much you can do. You can, like, so if I'm complaining about it and the whole system is down with the fraud, it's kind of hard to break through. So for the last 20 years, me personally, I have been breaking down this door, kicking this door in, because you're not going to lock me out of my accounts. You're not going to lock me out of my bank accounts and tell me they're shut down, but you still using them on the back end. So a person like me that been raised in real estate and finances and all of that, I can see the BS. I already know it's BS. Okay. And I've been in the mortgage industry, real estate industry, as a professional for since the age of 19. I started out as an investor, buying tax sale properties at 19, and went on to get licenses in several different aspects of real estate. So when you know, you know, a lot of people who don't have privy to this type of information, they just don't may not understand, or just don't believe it can be done, that people could be this corrupt. But this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with whole governments and their agents and officers and everybody involved that has been operating under a corrupt system and sworn to secrecy. So now we have broken through all of that, and these banks are going down. They don't have any sustainable wealth. All the sustainable wealth they was using was ours. Our wealth, from our wealth funds, our trust funds, the inheritances, the wills and trusts that belong to us. Many of us will now be getting our fair just due with our wills and our trusts that our ancestors left to us. that unlawful actors that were supposed to be lawful fiduciaries were supposed to execute these things for us, facilitate these things for us, bring these things to us as a lawful professional in the court system, as a lawyer, as a judge, as a magistrate, as a governmental official. But they have not done this. Instead, they've been cloaking our energy and our identities, walking in our shoes, stealing everything that belongs to us when this whole world belongs to us. Everything moving belongs to us. Everything they've been doing down to our spiritual inheritance, they've been committing identity theft and stealing it from us. So I know these things. I challenge them on these things. I complain about these things, and I don't let up because I have a job to do. It's a road less traveled. I'm a lone star. Definitely a pioneer in what I do. Not very many people can do what I'm doing, walk in my shoes, or even be in this lane. I carved out a lane for myself years ago. So the financial industry, OCC, the regulators, all of them know me. I've been a whistleblower in the real estate and financing and mortgage industry for over 20 years. So when I speak, I know what I'm talking about. See, that's the problem for the status quo. So keep a lookout on what's going on with the banks. Remember, I told you they going down. Put your money in gold. Intrinsic value is what you want to look for at this time. And search for your ancestral estate. Okay, your ancestors are awake. They want you to look for your ancestral estates, bring the land back to your bloodline and your family lines, and stop the fraud. Do not allow the fraud to go on. The longer you stay silent, the more the fraud is perpetuated. This is why it's important for us to come forward and take a stand. This is why it's important for us to make our claims because they have been claiming that everything was abandoned. So they're using this abandonment law to steal the land, steal inheritance and wills and trusts and unclaimed property that they never properly notice us of or do they fiduciary duties to inform us of. So now we left to search for everything. We're left to have to, you know, be the bearer of proof for ourselves. Make the claims, correct the status, go and get the ancestral states of our ancestors because the majority of us, pure blooded Americans, we have been duped out of our inheritance. All right, family, to the next one. I will see you all and